Hello everyone and welcome back in this chapter. So the previous video would have been about the activity measures. Now comes the time to learn about what's the relationship between the return on capital employed, return on sales and the asset turnover. So these are all the formulae which you've learned in the previous videos about the profitability ratios and the activity ratios. So if you see over here, return on sales, this is the formula that you would have written with you, and this is the formula for asset turnover, which you would have written. Now, just have let's multiply return on sales with the asset turnover into asset turnover. Let's do that to find out what actually is the relationship. So, if you see the formula, it's operating profit divided by revenue. This is what the formula of return on sales is. Then you talk about asset turnover. You see how there's revenue in the numerator and capital employed over here in the denominator. So once you multiply them, revenue and revenue get cancelled with each other. One is under division and one is multiplication. So they get cancelled. And net, what you're left with is operating profit divided by the capital employed. So this is what you're getting as the answer. And if you see, if you go back to the formula that you've written for ROCE, this is exactly operating profit divided by capital employed. Hence, we arrive at this relationship that ROCE is the product of return on sales multiplied by asset turnover. So this is one relationship, might be asked in the questions. They could give you two and ask you to find out the third one. So this is how you can use this relationship and find it out. Now, what does it mean conceptually? Conceptually, it means that the more your return on sales, more your asset turnover, more is going to be your capital employed. So it's all about generating return, right? Asset turnover talks about revenue, return on sales talks about how much money you've generated, how much profits have you generated as a comparison to your revenue. So ROCE will be better if ROS is good and if asset turnover is good. If either of them falls and the other one remains constant, then the overall ROCE is going to fall down. So this is the relationship between ROCE, return on sales, and asset turnover. In the next video, we're going to talk about the liquidity ratios.